Three How are we feeling this morning? It is Tuesday, March 19th, and it is another episode, all right, of 330 to go sports talk show. Guys, as we're coming in right now, get over to the comment section right now. Wishing everybody a good morning. As you see, I'm typing that in there. All right, go ahead. Katie, good morning. Katie's always my first listener every time. Katie, you are by far very prompt. I appreciate that. You number one fan, easily the number one fan. Guys, right now we got a few people more chiming in. Take a second. Give me a few likes. Give me a few follows. Give me a few shares. Click that button. You know what I mean? Just get your fingers, let's get a little exercise going in this morning. All right. So, high school sports, let's get to it right off the rip, guys. A lot going on this weekend. We will see a lot of action as the state tournament kick off in Dayton. All right. But before we got to that, recent scores last night, the Cavs edged one out 108-103 over the Pacers. Harvest Prep. All right. They end up beating Malvern 64-44. Lutheran East beats Cardinal Mooning 56-43. Whitmer 49 over Garfield Heights 47. That was probably one of the biggest shocking games of the weekend. Garfield Heights was heavily touted to end up potentially facing a very, very dynamic St. Ignatius team in the state title. I think everybody kind of saw that collision course happening, but that's why you play the game, and Toledo Whitmer was able to edge them out 49-47. Lutheran West falls to Shelby 46-55. Ottawa Glendorf 57 over Margarita. Huh? Doesn't that just make you want to go out and just have chip salsa and all that? I like that name. Margarita had 43. Maybe I'm even saying that completely wrong. Highland 48 over South Webster 45. St. Ignatius edges Brunswick 46-43. And Richmond Heights 95 over JFK Catholic out of Youngstown 61. On the girls' side, we want to stop everybody. If you know anybody that is with the Copley Girls Indians, tell all of those ladies congratulations on a great season. Unfortunately, they fell to the eventual state champs, Purcell Marion, 67-29. So a little bit of a rough go for the Copley Lady Indians, but still, nevertheless, that is a phenomenal season. Congratulations, you guys. Nothing to be ashamed of. It is very difficult to make it to that point of the season, and 330 thanks you guys for a heck of a ride. It was a lot of fun to be able to follow you guys and be able to, you ladies, I should say, follow you ladies all the way through the season. And thank you. So edging out into the girls final, Purcell Marion won over Laurel 79-52, and Olmsted Falls beat Springsboro 52-45. So that's how the girls wrapped up. Now on the boys side, you're seeing the tickers going across the bottom. I'm going to flip it over for a second because here are the upcoming OHSAA boys basketball games. All these games are going to be played on Dayton University, okay? But with Division IV kicking it all off Friday, where Berlin Highland Lima Central Catholic, tongue twister, there you go. I'm sorry, Berlin Highland is taking on Lima Central Catholic at 10:45. Richmond Heights is taking on Russia at 2 p.m. Division III will come in behind that, where Canal Winchester will take on Ottawa Landorf at 5:15. And Camden Shawnee takes on Lutheran East at 8:30. Then on Saturday, finishing up those semis on Division II, Kettering Alter takes on Ursuline. 330 Youngstown, we're rooting for you at 10:45. Shelby, Zanesville, Maysville at 2 p.m. Those two will be taking on each other. In Division I that evening, St. Ignatius taking on Delaware Hayes at 5:15, and Centerville taking on Toledo Whitmer at 8:30. All those championship games will be played on Sunday, all right? And on Sunday, you'll see a lot of those games as I'm looking at my notes real quick. Division I is the late game on Sunday night at 8:30. The kind of goes in that order. Division IV will start everything off at 10:45. Division III at 2 p.m. And then, Division III at 2 p.m. Division II at 5:15. Yeah, gosh, look at me. Too many times, too many things. Look at me trying to act like I know what I'm talking about, right? But guys, if you have anybody who's out there playing in any of those games, tell them we wish them the best. Get down. It's what, a 3-hour drive? I'm here kind of in the Akron area, Canton. 3-hour drive. Go over, catch out some high school basketball, man. It'd definitely be a good little time this weekend as those athletes continue to try to strive for the opportunity to host that OHAA national championship. Over the weekend, we saw a lot of basketball, a lot of great basketball, some knucklehead moments in basketball is the easiest way that I can kind of say that. But before I get too far, guys, the bracket challenge. There it is. You see it. There's Joe, there's Hank, there's Mike, and then there's me with that confused look in the top left-hand corner. Guys, this is all part of the bracket challenge. If you're listening and you haven't filled it out, I'm just going to go out and tell you right now, you're silly dumb, okay? Because they're giving away money. And all you have to do is beat one of the team members. You get the team members and you're getting in to the idea to win some money. Why would you not fill that out? If you look at that picture right there, there are 4 guys who you can easily beat, okay? Not a one of us knows what we're talking about. It's NCAA basketball. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in that? And that's why it's called March Madness, all right? So even though we know it's March Madness, we still had to get through all of the conference championships. And it was absolutely crazy, a fun weekend. And here's kind of the one that everybody was talking about over the weekend. And this happened Saturday night. I'm going to show a clip, guys, and take a watch.
Man with the ball. 10 to shoot. Sullinger in the lane. No. Hornby puts it up and in. 6 seconds ago, Kent State a 1-point lead. And a foul on Rollins. And it'll be a 1-and-1 free throw for Akron. No. Tie game. 4.8 seconds to go. Greg triple. Got it. Off the front of the rim. And
wow. Oh, wow. All right. First of all, I feel for the kid because if you saw the athlete that did the intentional foul there at the end, your heart breaks for him because anybody who was watching that game was wondering why. Why did you do that? And I think a lot of those times that you get in those moments of those games, there is so much going on. That atmosphere up there from a few of my friends that were up there, they said it was electric. And that's exactly how it should be. But you have to know the moment, right? You have to know what's going on. You have to be aware of how many fouls. Do you have any fouls to give? That's the only thing that I guess when I'm watching that, I'm thinking that the kid from Kent thought that they had a foul to give. I don't understand. If the only other explanation is he still thought they were down 1. Okay. And you know what that reminds me of? And I hate to bring this up to all you, Cavs fans, and I'm a Cavs fan because this broke my heart. This moment, this is exactly what I felt like that moment happened.
Hill misses. Rebound goes to the Cavs. J.R. Smith brings it back out. Throws it to Hill. Hill shot blocked.
Am I wrong? That is a J.R. Smith moment. That is an exact J.R. Smith. I hate to compare that kid to J.R. and I hate to compare J.R. to that kid. But do you know how often this stuff happens? This happens absolutely all the time, but it's going to be publicized and magnetized because of that exact moment. That exact moment that we're all sitting around on a Saturday night. And for the most part, everybody was probably getting rowdy because everyone was getting their St. Patrick's Day on one day before. Okay. So it was electric probably wherever you were. If you're at a few bars, having a few of them green beers and stuff, everyone's out enjoying it. You see that moment and then everyone's trying to wrap their head around it. And you're just like, where in God's green earth is your mind at that moment? But that kid played a phenomenal game. All right. And you see the coach for Kent State, and he is just absolutely beside himself. I'm going to put it back up here again, and I'm going to scrub this a little bit just to be able to kind of find that second. All right. And it's funny because even as you're watching this, here, let me go back because it is interesting to watch. The foul happens right there as soon as, the ball.
Seconds to go, Kent State a 1-point lead.
And I'm not exactly sure, but the coach just is beside himself. So you're thinking this coach is just irate with this player. I don't think that was the case at all. Did anybody happen to see what he had to say? Coach Senderoff, I like this. I have a ton of respect for this exact comment. And this is exactly of a coach having their players back. Few and far between. That does not happen in this day and age. I'm saying that in all honesty, from the youth level all the way up. I've coached youth level. We're all guilty of it. Okay. We're all guilty of those moments where we don't truly have our players back, and that's wrong. Okay, and I'm admitting that I've done that as well, but you try to work on it, you try to understand it. But I love this quote. This is just great. And he says, as I told the team, I should have just called a timeout there, which that's probably why he's grabbing his head, like, what was I thinking? Why did I not go with my gut instinct? And he said he does not blame Julius whatsoever. There were 100 plays, and that was just one of them. That was just one play. And that's why it's magnetized, because it's on that level. It's at that moment. People feel for that kid. Even Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery says crazy. Feel for the kid, but agree with you. Gotta know the moment. And that's exactly where we're at. And even Hank, who was probably chiming in, he had said J.R. Smith. And actually, I would give Hank credit to that when I was leading into talking about what that reminded us of. He jumped on it. So great minds think alike. I already had the video clip ready to roll, and we saw that. So those two moments right there, wow. You know, that's why you play the game, right? You never know who's going to be able to win, but it's definitely a costly foul, and you're just completely crushed by it. So Akron wins it, and they get in, and what do they get? They get the 14 seed, and I'm going to be honest with you, that is a crap seeding. I'm sorry. They should have been a 12. I know people don't think it's a big deal, but it is, because you're going to be playing a Creighton team. And I had to look into this. This is Creighton's highest seed ever. That Creighton team is really, really good. So on Thursday, I'm hopeful. We may be having a little bit of an interview going on. I was able to kind of dig around, and I think it's kind of a unique story. So we're looking at potentially having a gentleman who played at Creighton, and his kid now plays at Akron. So a divided house. So kind of like that Michigan team up north, flag that everybody sees. It's going to be like that, except we're going to have the Zippies, and I believe it's the Blue Jays. Let's see if I'm right. Is it right? Does anybody know if Creighton is I think they're the Blue Jays. Somebody Google that for me real quick. Let's see if I was able to not put my foot in my mouth and make up something. Another question that made me start thinking about it is then everybody starts complaining about how the Zips, they get in and Kent should have still got in. No, doesn't work that way. When's the last time two MAC teams made the NCAA March Madness? Can anybody think of that right now? I talked with multiple people and we were having fun with this, and I purposely did not Google it till this morning. And I was off, but can anybody name the last time that happened, or has it ever happened? But I think pretty much by me saying I Googled it, you guys know that it probably did happen. So right now, let's just see who can throw that up without Googling and cheating. Let's see maybe some answers to that question. And then later on in the show, I'll come back to it and we'll get into it. But yeah, the Zips are going to be taking on Creighton, and that game is set to tip off on Thursday. And as you can see, that March Madness bracket is absolutely nuts. I could go completely down. I'll probably dive in a little bit more on Thursday about it after we get through it with the interview on Thursday morning. But games that jump right off to me off the beginning, I like the Wisconsin James Madison, and you could probably think I'm thinking upset there. I like that. There's always that time of the year where everybody wants to take those 12 seeds to get through. Akron Creighton. I really liked Akron as well because the MAC player of the year, who I then looked out even more into his stats, he's leading the Division I in double doubles. Freeman is an animal. I don't think I did enough justice to him to talk about him throughout the year, so I apologize. But that kid is one heck of a player. Another one, Dayton and Nevada. I like Dayton, even though they're the higher seed at 7. Nevada's at 10. And then you have to go over to the BYU Duquesne. Why is Duquesne important? Because Duquesne has a hell of a coach in Coach Keith Dambrot. I had the opportunity to practice for Coach Dambrot for probably about 2.5 weeks. And that was when I was in high school, when he coached at St. Vincent St. Mary. And I saw the writing on the wall. There was a little bit of a few talented freshmen, and I was like, I'm absolutely not going to get any playing time. But Coach Dambrot is a demanding coach. He left St. Vincent St. Mary, took the job at Akron U, took Akron U to the March Madness a few times because they are 0-5. Akron is 0-5 all time in the March Madness of what I saw. Maybe I didn't Google things correctly this morning, but still, he's got Duquesne in it. And then there's this report coming out that Coach Dambrot is potentially going to be retiring at the end of the season. And there it was right there. I'll tell you what, man, people would almost think that this is me typing it. Hank, you and I are, this is scary. If I hope this is Hank. All right. This could be somebody else on our team commenting, but they are saying the exact same things that I am before I even get them out. So I appreciate it that you are that in tune with it. It makes me smile. But Dambrot is set to retire. We'll see it to believe it. How do you not want to take Duquesne in the first round? Will Akron be looking for a new coach next week? Wow, Jeff. I would hope not. You're kind of thinking that the coach leaves. He's gone. He's not going to be able to stick around because he got Akron U in and he's going to be leaving. Maybe so. It's tough to really say. That's the one thing that's always been a knock on Akron is the ability to keep those coaches in there. But I have definitely enjoyed being able to watch Akron U over the last year. They have been really entertaining, very, very, very entertaining to watch. So I'm not going to put my foot right in my mouth right away here, Jeff, but I don't know. That would be an interesting, I like that take. Who else got snubbed? So everyone's talking about Kent potentially getting snubbed. The biggest snub they're saying was St. John's. Rick Pitino comes out and says, I mean, if you guys look at that, they were ranked in the top 35 and they don't get in. That to me just makes zero sense. I don't even understand it. Let's see. Joe Harris. The real question here is anyone beating our brackets? Joe, I tried. I'm pumping it, man. We've got like 45 people already signed up. Trying to get some more. Joe, you're beating me. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to. I haven't picked a winner, and I don't know when. The last time I won was when Sean May in North Carolina. I believe they had Felton as the point guard. That was the last time I picked the winner of the NCAA bracket. So as you guys are Googling those, when was the last time two MAC teams were in the tournament, you could probably Google the last time North Carolina won with Sean May and Felton. That was when I knew what the heck I was talking about. So been a while, guys. It's been a while. Tonight, it kicks off the 4 playing games. Tonight, we got Wagner and Howard, 2 16 seeds. And the winner of that gets the opportunity to go play, I believe it was Purdue. Is that Purdue? Sorry about that. No, that is not Purdue. That is North Carolina. Wow, what a consolation prize that is for them. Feel bad for Wagner or Howard. I like North Carolina. I think they're going to be a solid, make a solid run in all this. Also tonight, 210s going at it. We're Colorado State and Virginia. And the winner of that will be taking on, let me make sure. I should have known this and been prepared, but I'm not. I'm actually sitting here looking at my bracket. Now, tomorrow night, the Boise State, Colorado 10, they'll be playing Florida. And tomorrow night's Grambling State, Montana will be playing Purdue. And like I'd mentioned, Howard Wagner's North Carolina. And the other one, where's the other playing game? Why am I not seeing it? There it is. Virginia and Colorado State get, oh my God, why did I just lose it? Texas. So that'll be quite interesting. Those will be at least something fun. I think those are exciting. They're getting a little bit better. I'd like to see like a really cool and like 2 5s. Wouldn't that be nice if there was 2 5s that played? Like, get rid of the 16s. I don't know. That's just me, but you move on with things, right? So we know what's going on, guys. Get on, fill out March Madness brackets. There is no reason that you shouldn't take advantage of the money. And also right now, as I said, hit click, like, share, subscribe, do all the above. All right. So as we're moving on with the NBA, Did anybody see this absolutely crazy dunk? Take a look at this picture right here. Okay. Did you guys see this last night? This is the phenom, absolute phenom for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This Edwards kid is an absolute freak. I mean, the stuff that this guy is doing, he jumped over John Collins, who used to play for the Atlanta Hawks, and that's John Collins. And actually, both players got injured on the play. John Collins holding his head right there is concussed. There was a head, a ding to his head, and still they were checking him for that. But after the game, they get an interview with Edwards, and he actually breaks down his dunk. And here it is in live action, guys. So take a quick watch.
All right, we got to talk about that dunk. We got a monitor right here, and you're going to talk us through what happened on that dunk. Here we go.
Ah! Oh my God! Hey, that was my best dunk of my career. I'm not gonna lie.
You've had some good ones.
Now, I didn't even react because I dislocated my finger. You see it?
On your left hand too.
Dislocated his finger and literally jumped over a 7-foot man. That's amazing. That's why I called him a freak. That's exactly why I called him a freak. That's amazing. Has anybody ever dreamed of dunking? I have. I touched the backboard one time. It was like no other feeling I've ever had in my entire life, and it definitely, whew, boy, it was amazing. And do you realize the difference between touching the net to touching the backboards that much? That's how much I worked on my vertical that summer. That's what's up, guys. But Edwards, you are a machine, and you straight up just crushed it. And you, like Joe said, this is pretty funny. He dislocated that man's career. You're not lying, Joe. You are absolute not lying. Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News says, I could dunk a bit in my 20s. All right, man. Well, I like that. I mean, one thing I'm not going to judge. You never judge a book by its cover. There are some guys that are shorter than me that get up and just crush it. So you never know who can and can't dunk, but I'm just going to go on a limb and say I'm swatting backboard all day with phenomenal layups, and I could do it with the best of them for about 5 minutes. Now he says for about 5 minutes. Now I'm lucky if I can grab that net. Exactly. You're probably in your 40s now. I don't even think I could get the net. All right. The last time I touched the net is when I got on a stool to change the net for my son. That's the last time I touched the net, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. I just do not see it. Let's see. We also had on here 330 had put out women's Final Four challenges open as well. So we have that going on as well. I don't want to leave out the ladies, and I will get, like I said, a little more into that on Thursday. There's just so much to kind of cover, and I don't mean to dismiss ladies. Final Four basketball tournament whatsoever. That is not what I'm trying to do, but trying to space it out. So if you're really into it, you better tune in on Thursday because we'll be ready to rock and roll. Katie, try your 50s. Hey, you're doing better than I am. I just said I'm 41 and I can't touch net. So small ball in your 20s. Hank, you're full of it. You probably dunked maybe a golf ball you dunked, and honestly, this is probably what it looked like if Hank was trying to dunk a golf ball. Did anybody see this over the weekend either?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable is the exact word. Does anybody know what that was from? You guys are probably like, why did this guy just show a golf ball rolling around in a hole? How did he just go from NCAA basketball over to golf? Well, Hank said something about that he could dunk a ball back in his 20s, and I said he could probably dunk a golf ball. Guys, that is over the weekend. That was at the Players' Championship. That was Wyndham Clark on the 18th hole, putting to push a playoff against Scotty Scheffler. And that's exactly how the golf ball went, halfway in and halfway out. It was absolutely heartbreaking. for Wyndham Clark. I absolutely fell for him as well. And the reason I fell for him as well is because on Thursday, before he went on, and if anybody actually followed the golf tournament, and I know we have some listeners that do, I put in a $20 bet for Wyndham Clark to win the whole tournament. And that bet would have paid a nice, cool $150. And I needed that putt to go in. So I reacted probably the exact same as Wyndham, except I screamed like a little girl in pure agony because who wouldn't want 125 extra dollars? So, golly. At the end of the day, I don't think our heart's really breaking for Wyndham Clark too much because I still think he pulled like at least a $2 million purse out of that, which is phenomenal in itself. But Scotty Scheffler had picked up winning the Players Championship this weekend. Guys, it was a lot of fun. The 17th is always very cool for any of you golf fanatics. It's always interesting. We're getting into it. The Masters is creeping upon us, and I think everybody's trying to figure out. And I know last week going into it, when we talked about the players, everyone said, well, it's watered down because all the real players are over on the Live tournament. That's not going to be the case. John Rahm and company will be coming back to the Masters tournament, and then we're going to find out who really is the best. Let's see. 330 got it. 330 also said a small basketball couldn't fully palm a regular size basketball. I don't know. I haven't tried. Katie says that I only ever dunked on a 9-foot rim. Katie, I'm with you. I had like an adjustable hoop. I would put that thing down to like 8.5 and just reverses all day. You can ask even one of the listeners if he's on here, my friend John, as a kid. When I would get mad, I would just end up punting the basketball out of the court. I had my backyard. We had like an adjustable sore loser. I'm like the worst loser ever. I pout about everything like a big complainer. But back in the day, 8.5 foot. Oh my gosh, man. I was like J.R. Ryder. Does anybody remember J.R. Ryder? When he went through the legs and did that dunk, I thought that was the coolest dunk back then. That dunk's been, topped multiple times since then, but back then as a kid, oh my Lord, it was like the coolest thing ever. There you go, Katie. She had an adjustable hoop too. Who wouldn't have an adjustable hoop? Those are like the greatest things ever. They make you feel like an athlete. They really do. So that makes me laugh. I just kind of giggled to myself. So the Cavs last night, guys, pick up a win 108 to 103. I'm checking the stats. I'm giving you guys a live reaction right now. Oh, Jared Allen and LeVert, they got it going with 23 points both. With everybody out right now, it's literally like Mitchell being out with the nasal fracture and all that stuff. It's ridiculous. And then you got Mobley's out. It's just, wow, we are dinged up. But we picked up Marcus Morris. If anybody has seen him in the past, that guy is the type of guy you want on your team and you hate playing against him. He is a pain in the butt, but happy that he's with the Cavs now. And Cavs stepping up. I mean, that is a solid team win. Morris had 14 points. Sam had 11. Garland chips in 13. LeVert, like I said, Allen at 23. There's my Isaac Okoro. What did he go from 3-point land? Oh, he only shot it 2 times. Thank goodness. I am like the worst on Isaac Okoro. I really am. He drives me absolutely nuts. I'm sorry. Somebody had just texted me and I just want to make sure it wasn't super. Let's see here. I'm moving along, trying to move along. Where was I? I was with the NBA. Gosh, you guys just see that train wreck just happen right in front of you? I just totally got lost. NFL, moving around. NFL news. Guys, anybody who's been watching, this was my take last week. Take a listen. If it plays. Uh-oh. Do we not have it? Uh-oh. What just happened there? Why aren't they playing? Uh-oh. Moon Man. Studio. Why aren't these two playing? Oh my gosh. These are really good. Where are they at? Uh-oh. I lost Moon Man. So I have these 2 clips. Hopefully he's logging out, logging back in, and he's going to be able to play them. So what they are is I'm talking about how Justin Fields has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We made a post over the weekend, and oh my Lord, do people lose their minds. And are we a Steelers network? No, we're not. Are we a Browns network? No. Okay. Do we report on all of them? Yes. All right. We're going to report on things that are relevant. Justin Fields is an Ohio State Buckeye, and it's going to be very, very difficult to be able to root for him now because he's wearing that black and yellow. So let's see here. Northeast had said, I hope he sticks around past the 10-day contract. I think he's a better fit for the Cavs during the playoffs than TT. So he's referring to Morris being able to sign. They signed a 10-day contract. I agree with you 100%. 100% on that, especially after seeing that stat line right there. He played 19 minutes and gave you 14 points. What we're talking about is the Morris kid for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Justin Fields goes to Pittsburgh and all hell breaks loose and people are super mad and angry and annoyed and they're just beside themselves. So last week when Wilson signed, I had this take. Term as a Browns fan, I love it because you want to know why? If you watched my show a couple weeks ago, who was I talking about that I did not want to see in Pittsburgh? And that's Justin Fields. So thank you for signing, Russ. That's great. Yeah, I hope maybe he gets you through the year. He's got to stay out of the injury, bug as well. But does that really make Pittsburgh much better, for the long run is what I was trying to say there before my face froze in that O face. So that was me last week talking about how I was super excited that Russell Wilson was in Pittsburgh and that was blocking Justin Fields. Depression set in when that trade went through because back on 2/22, all right, so if you're listening and you're like, man, he kind of has a take sometimes that makes sense and then other times he's just full of it, I have actual evidence that I kind of knew what I was talking about back on February 22nd, guys. Think about that. February 22nd. It's almost a month. And this is what I had to say back then. They're going to take the kid out of USC and they are looking to ship Justin Fields out. And this is why I'm saying be careful what you wish for. He's going to end up in Pittsburgh. Okay. And I don't like it at all because out of the trade packages that they're talking about, the one that they can offer for Justin Fields of a Patrick Peterson along with picks is to me the most enticing. Why? Because the Patrick Peterson is at least. So they were talking at the time, Patrick Peterson, who was a corner for the Steelers, would be involved in the trade package. They didn't even give him that. They didn't even give him a bag of Doritos or chips. They stole Justin Fields from Chicago. Stole him. Plain and simple. Everyone thinks that Justin Fields is that bad of a quarterback. I'm sorry. You are dead wrong. You are dead wrong. If anybody watched him at Ohio State, he had weapons around him. What they just did in Chicago, I'm borderline becoming a slight Bears fan. With their offseason currently, the pieces and parts that they've added around, Swift at running back, that's the kid from Philly that came over. You had DJ Moore they picked up from the Panthers last year. Okay. And then you go get Keenan Allen, draft Marvin Harrison and keep Justin Fields and go battle the Lions for the North. No, you're going to draft Caleb Williams. And I'm going on record now. I don't see it. I still don't see it. And it aggravates me. Straight up aggravates me. All right. That people think these people have him projected so ridiculously high. Now, just to give you an idea, I had saw this, and I'm pulling this up because this is very interesting to me. And I took a screenshot of it. So I'm reading this to you guys. Think about this right now. In the last 2 years, the quarterbacks that have been drafted that were ranked so ridiculously high. Does anybody, as I read these names down, think about where they are and what they did. In 2021, working from the bottom up, Mac Jones, traded. Justin Fields, traded. Trey Lance, hasn't played, injured, traded. Zach Wilson will be cut or traded. Trevor Lawrence, still a starting quarterback, but they brought another quarterback in to battle him because they're trying to push him. So Trevor Lawrence is the only one in the 2021 draft class as quarterbacks that they had so highly touted that's still a viable starter. moving over, okay, as we go into 2022. It makes zero sense to me when I look at these. So 2022, Sam Howell traded. Bailey Zappi cut. Now he's a backup. Matt Corral, the kid out of what was that? Ole Miss in the UFL. Malik Willis, highly touted, supposedly coming out. Tennessee steals him. He's a backup. Desmond Ryder traded. Kenny Pickett traded. Why do I even bring any of those up to talk about it? Those same people have Caleb Williams anointed as the second coming of like Patrick Mahomes. Does that not ruin a little bit of their credibility? These guys hyped those quarterbacks so high that they got drafted and now they're cut. Like, we're at the point of the NFL where we're drafting quarterbacks and we're giving you away for the 6th round pick. Now, do I think that turns into a 4th round pick for Pittsburgh? It should. Justin Fields can turn into a 4th round pick with X amount of playing time. Okay, great, grand. But is Russell Wilson really going to stay? Everyone's like, oh, man, no, dangerous Russ. No, it's not. This is not Seattle. It's not. Everyone's like, oh, he's a quarterback pedigree. Yeah, but I mean, I guess maybe I'm still jaded from Wisconsin when we saw Russell Wilson there when he was playing against Ohio State. But come on, like Justin Fields or Russell, it's a no-brainer. I'm playing Justin Fields all day, every day. I think Pittsburgh fleeced Chicago, and Chicago's handing over everything because Caleb Williams is a little nervous that Justin Fields, with the amount of pieces and parts they're putting, does look like a smarter decision just to stay pat because you could draft Marvin Harrison. Okay. That to me is a can't miss. Let's see. I'll tell you what, this is what Joe says. Tomlin might get some production from Russ with that receiving group. Joe, you could get production from him. Okay. I'll get back there and sling it. I'll lube up the arm. Okay. We could go flip the pill around that field. Come on. Plus, with that defense, Pittsburgh is rebuilding. Everyone better take notice. They snuck into the playoffs last year, and they realized they're not as far out of contention as you think. They're missing some pieces and parts, and they're adding them right now. Okay? So Kenny Pickett was a complete disaster. Absolutely, Joe. Joe says Kenny Pickett couldn't, and he's right. That's why Kenny Pickett, who gets mad when they bring in another quarterback, demands a trade. So essentially, you traded Pickett for Justin Fields. That is, to me, that is just absolutely crazy. But guys, you got to give me a little credit. Okay. Like, I'm going to play it again because this is my moment to gloat. Like, I knew what I was talking about. It's the first time ever you're watching it live. I knew what I was talking about. They're going to take the kid out of USC and they are looking to ship Justin Fields out. And this is why I'm saying, be careful what you wish for. He's going to end up in Pittsburgh, okay? Oh. And I don't like it at all because one more time he's going to end up in Pittsburgh, okay? Bingo. Ended up in Pittsburgh. There he is, not happy about it. Just as mad today as I am then. I don't like being right. I don't. Not in this case. Moving on before I get on another soapbox, right? The Browns are going to be going to Brazil, and they're going to be taking on the Eagles to open up the season, and they're going to be taking their quarterback room of 4 at this point because they signed Huntley from the Baltimore Ravens. He is joining the Cleveland Browns quarterback room as we continue to bolster that. Everybody who's complaining about why do we have this many quarterbacks, you are the same people that were obviously excited when we went into the season last year with 2. I don't think so. You definitely were not. You were complaining. Browns fans, stop. We got to stop, guys. We got to change. The culture's got to change, and it starts with us, okay? It's kind of like parents at the youth level. We think we know it all, and we are very much part of the problem. And as Browns fans, when we complain and we think we know it all, we are very much part of the problem. The demeanor's changing in the front office. They are getting much smarter up there. I love what Andrew Berry's doing. Jimmy Haslam is doing the right things. He's pushing the city to potentially build a new stadium, or he's going to go build a new stadium. He's going to go get his own Haslam World. very much like Jerry has down there in Texas. So, guys, you got to jump on board. They're trying to do it. They're trying to bolster it. I think it's methodical to be able to put those kind of quarterbacks in place behind Watson because you invested in him and you have to see that through. Now, next year, when we're sitting here having this conversation, that could look a whole lot different. Next year, if he has, I'll say this right now, if Deshaun Watson has another year like he had, I'm saying it's time to move on. I'll cut my losses because the window's there for all these other players that we're signing. We have too much talent at every other position to sit back and say, we made a mistake. Cut your loss. Okay. Cut your loss. So Dolan needs to take a page out of Haslam's book. I completely agree, Katie. There is no reason not to think that, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm going to try to get up to a few guards games this year. We'll see. Maybe there'll be a little firework night, something along that lines. Other news that was relevant, Ohio State defensive end Chase Young signs with the New Orleans Saints. So I'm happy about that because I honestly thought Chase Young was going to end up in Pittsburgh. That was where I thought. I think I'd mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. So if somebody wants to go, they can go back and find that. And then guess what? I'm wrong there. So now I'm 1 for 2, batting 50%. Nobody's jumped on the whole MAC thing. I thought I'd have a couple of comments in there. The last time 2 MAC teams played each other, 1990. They didn't play each other. They both made the tournament, 1999, when Miami of Ohio and Kent State both were in. Kent, I believe, won the MAC, and Miami still got in because they were ranked. So that is the last time that's happened. And it's always interesting because we're always rooting for the MAC. We always like to see the Cinderella, and we're hoping Zippy can be that Cinderella, but they will have to first get past Creighton on Thursday. So, guys, come back on Thursday morning, okay? Tomorrow morning, check in. We've got our morning show, making changes, twisting it up, getting it going, guys. Check out the morning show tomorrow. You guys tune into that. Give that a like, give that a follow, give that a share, just like you're going to do to mine right now. Guys, more likes, more shares. I'm greedy. I want more. I always want more. All right. And things are heating up. And just like it is, here's that segue that I always go to, right? Real estate. I'm a realtor. Know it, believe it, learn it. Guys, you don't know me. You only know me from talking sports. If you want to talk anything to do with real estate, I know just as much there. All right. So give me a call today. See what I can do for you. It has been a busy February and March. I had the opportunity last month to get the award for one of the top producers for my area in my brokerage. And I can only be doing that because of my gracious clients that allow me to be able to handle their biggest acquisition ever, their biggest value of life. Your house is their biggest value, one of the biggest things you could ever buy in your life. And anybody who allows me to be able to handle that for them, I'm always going to be grateful for, because that's a tough thing. You got to be able to trust somebody. And why wouldn't you trust me? Right, guys, everyone knows a realtor. You don't know me. Give me a call today. All right. And anytime, I am always happy to be able to sit down and talk and let you know the value of what your home is worth and what your dreams are worth. I can make that happen, guys. And always. That kind of wraps it up for today as we get through it. We will be coming back talking a lot more in March Madness on Thursday when I'm back here at 9:00. And again, tomorrow, tune in to the morning show. And in the afternoon, go check out Mike Voorhees, talking that talk, giving you his take. That guy's always got something to say, and I always appreciate it. I love arguing with Mike. Me and Mike will argue. You should see some of our text threads. We just argue about nothing at all. And that's why I love Mike. He gives such a perspective, and you guys should tune in to be able to watch that. Guys, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you guys always tuning in here when we talk sports here on the 330 to Go Sports Talk Show. I will be back again Thursday. Did you see how I almost said Monday? Thursday, 9 a.m. I will see you then. Till then, you guys be safe in the comment section. Be nice. Seriously, be nice. Play nice. You guys know the above. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you guys back here on Thursday.